All right, if you're here for the dance floor tutorial, welcome. You are welcome on the dance floor. This is basically a participation event. Your first step is joining the dance floor. Crazy. Let's go. Let's go. Woo! If you're already boogieing, you're welcome on here as well. We'll talk about what this panel actually is as we go on. I think I got the description pretty pat down in the guidebook. It should be... All right, let me actually turn on the playlist I mean to play while I do this. Fortunately, my phone situation, I had a playlist on my phone. As things go on after the PowerPoint goes on a little bit, I'm going to have to be doing some back and forth walking. That's okay. I like being with the crowd. All right, I'm going to let that wrap up, actually. How we doing? Good? Ooh, did we all get 8 hours of sleep? Yeah! All right, we're off to a great start. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I don't know anyone who got 8 hours of sleep last night, me included. We're not going to talk about that. I was up at 4 a.m. meowing at the jam pod down by the expo hall. It was a great time. Wait, was that you? What are you doing here? That's fair. I love that. But I already know you have the chutzpah to be doing all of this stuff. So, all right. So I'm just going to turn on this playlist. This is my ambient playlist. I'm going to turn attention. I have a PowerPoint that's going to be like half. Oh, wait. And I also have papers. Where did my papers go? Hold on. Here we go. I'm all over the place. I'm also normally like this even when I'm not on, like, I'm not saying how many hours of sleep. All right, guys. Hi. How we doing? Hi, welcome. All right, so I'm gonna turn this way because I do in fact have a PowerPoint. I'm not gonna make you look it on that tiny ass screen. Sorry, language. Cool. Welcome. This is going to be your dancing hero dance floor tutorial. I have tried to source the best of video game dance music. It's a lot of techno, because techno is just really good for video game music for reasons I will get into later. First of all, who am I? This doesn't like me sometimes. Hold on. How close do I have to be for this? Oh, you know why? Because it's on this other. I know why. It's because I have to be clicked on this other screen. There we go. All right. Is that it? Yes, perfect. Hi, I'm a rando. I actually have credentials. I've done panels at MAGFest before. Most notably, I ranked every single song in the Final Fantasy XIV online soundtrack at the time. I think it was like 356 or something like that 200 something. That's not important. Dancing is kind of for everyone. Like, I've been into dance music for a very long time, but like, you can't really do dance music without dancing. So I just kind of got into it one night. It's actually MAGFest's fault. One time I went into MAGFest. I had a great time at the Chip Rave stage, or whatever, the one all the way at the end. And I was like, I could do this. I mean, I live in New York City, so it's different for me to say this. I was like, I have no idea the origin. I had a whole talk about how I don't know the origin of that. I'm a transplant, so whatever. I'm from Jersey. But I was like, hey, I could do that any night of the week if I really wanted to. So I just looked up a techno club. I walked into a techno club. And I've been just ass deep in that, sorry, language. I've been head deep in that community for a few years now. It's a lot of fun. It's intimidating to dance at all, though. Like, I don't know if you've been to a lot of these MAGFest dance events. I think it is intimidating because you got a lot of different kinds of people dancing. You got people who are like doing these crazy steps. You got people who are just kind of wiggling. But what matters is that you are participating. So let's talk about this piano real quick. Piano, I call it a panel. Everyone calls it a panel. It's more of a workshop. What is it? It's beginner focused. This is more like, if you're like kind of a little bit shy, if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, the dance floors are a little intimidating. This is for you. There is going to be a little bit of standing and waiting around between exercises and like, little, I don't want to call them demonstration, like participation activities. There you go. All right. I'm going to be doing a lot of yapping because I love yapping. And there is going to be a little bit of movement. It's not going to be anything extreme. I'm not going to teach you Hawken today. We're not doing step. We're not doing... If you want to do the cyber goth raving thing, you're totally welcome to. I'm not going to stop you. Please do that. It's not like again. It's not for those kinds of like extreme nudes. We're not doing any of those wild things today. And it's definitely not the be all end all. There are people who will fight me on things I might say throughout this panel. That's okay. I will fight them back. It doesn't actually matter in the end because people are out there making. I'm sorry, I'm fidgety. There's a lot of cool music. This is not a donut. If you know, you know. And I don't know if it's a rave. We can call this a rave. It's not like, people will also argue with me on what is a rave. We're not going to talk about that tonight. Cool. So, yeah, you guys all made room. This is good. Just make sure you have a little bit of elbow room. Like, you're not going to hit somebody if you start flailing around. Cool. All right, we're good. There's not too many people. It's not, like, overwhelmingly. All right, you all seem pretty much ready. Just play if you don't have deodorant for any reason. I ask that you keep it low energy. Yes, yeah. But otherwise, you know how you prepare these things. Pretty straightforward. The fact that you're here at all means you kind of know like what you're getting into, which is very good for being on a dance floor. Kind of know what music you're getting into. You don't know what music you're getting into today. That's okay. That's why I'm here. And when you go to these events, by the way, like you don't have to today because it's low volume so that we can talk. Go to these things with earplugs. Trust me, like if you go to too many of these like arena parties, Pose especially, there's something about Pose where they love to pump up the music. Wear earplugs, especially once you go more regularly. All right, so this is the actual dance floor. Oh my God, is there a laser? There's no laser, that's fine. All right. Long story short, most of the time how this is going to work, and actually funny enough, this is the one room where it's not like this. It's really funny. You're going to end up on the floor. There's going to be a crowd over there. It's usually going to be speakers in the front. It's going to be a DJ, and there's going to be visuals. Here's the thing about this. Do you know where the sound is on this dance floor? It's everywhere. Crazy. I know. Yeah, there are going to be some visuals a lot of the time, but like if you're on a dance floor, unless you go to like certain shows like Excision, Sudden Death, like those ones where they meme on it and like there's a giant guy on the screen is like rah rah. It usually doesn't matter. Most of the time when you go to like the club, when you come to the arena rave, the arena rave has cool visuals, but it's usually just on a loop to look cool. The whole floor is yours. Like this you are the crowd. You are the composition of that dance floor from a certain point out. Cool. So once you're on there, there's some stuff to keep in mind. Especially when it gets tight. Nowadays, clubs love to pack it out. So, just be mindful. Elbows are gonna get bumped, but it happens. Don't be that person. I think part of the reason a lot of us are shy nowadays is because we are like constantly staring at each other. Don't do that. Don't record people. Unless some people do really cool dance moves. I think usually they don't care. So there's a thing where people go up to the speaker and they just start talking and they never stop talking. I will tell you, dancers, like a lot of people who really love going to the function hate that. You are competing with like speakers 5 times the size of that and 3 times as loud, like literal jet planes. Don't compete with that. I'm begging you. It's gonna hurt your throat. Don't just stand. Guys, what's this called? There we go, dance floor. It's very important that you dance because it's honest to God, the best way you can respect the DJ, which is, by the way, not just an artist, they're like a party curator, like 50% artist, 50% party curator, is by actually dancing. If you are standing there like a statue, they're like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing my job? Is this for nothing? Even just bobbing your head, even just being like, giving a little like, this will be the best way that they know that they are doing a good job. We're not going to talk about what to do if they're doing a bad job. That's a online discussion. All right, we're going to do some quick stretches. I wrote some down over here real quick. All right. Very quick stretches. These are kind of generally what we're going to use. All right, so just real quick. Stretch your arms. Just stretch it all the way back. Like they will literally either be doing this or we're also gonna do like some kicking back, like slow kicking back of your legs. You feel it right here, right? Yeah, hold on. Did I just hit this back like 10 times? Yeah, all right, hold on. All right, a little more high knees. So you can feel like the back and forth in your, kind of like your thighs. That's usually where it starts hurting. All right, and then we just do one more, just kind of give a little down there. Get all the way to the bottom of our stretching situation. All right, awesome, great job. That's all you need. That's just a little bit of loosening your body to get things going. All right, so you're probably like, oh my God, these people really they take this seriously. We just did stretches. Yeah, there's a lot. There's like a whole theory I've been cooking up about movement. It's about endurance. It's really more of like a marathon and not a race. Like there are some people who go really hard. They probably low-key have really good cardio without even realizing it, if we're being honest here. First of all, stay hydrated. That should be the general rule for any kind of movement. Stretch if you got it. We did stretch. The big one that I don't think people talk about is you're going to use your joints. Maybe not your neck so much, but you're going to kind of there's the two major ones that I've realized that I use a lot when I'm going a long time are your shoulders and your knees. And those are where you're actually going to sink into. You're going to actually kind of go back and forth a little bit. That's going to be the best way you keep moving, because once you feel it pushing back like a spring almost, it's going to keep you going for a long time, even without as much effort. And then everything else kind of supports that. Your hips kind of end up being the secondary. And everything just kind of sways. Hey, let's do a little swaying. Do some swaying. You feel that, right? You just kind of keep going, especially once you lock into the music. We'll go to more standard beats later. But yeah, also your elbows. If you need a little bit more assistance, you can also use your elbows. That's a really great way to kind of dip into it. Yeah, and make sure you bend your knees, by the way. It's very I think people underestimate how important it is to keep your knees bent. See there, it's you can just kind of keep going and bounce off that for a really long time. All right. And obviously your ankles, but just be careful with that. That's it for generally that. So we did start moving, but we're gonna start moving a little bit more with proper exercises, quote unquote exercises. All right, hold on, let me get this. I actually have a song for this, which is I have to start going back to the laptop. All right, this is what I joke is the only song in existence because it's on every rhythm game ever. You know this one. This is the only song that exists. I just need you to know that. All right, we're gonna start by clapping. Start with rhythm because it's important. You keep rhythm. See, it's easy to keep going on a rhythm. It's easier than just flailing around. I'm gonna do arms. One or both arms. Follow your dreams. I don't care. See how it's easy once you get a flow to it? There you go. All right. Now we're gonna pump our hands. You can either do one or two beats. We can do this or we can go faster. Do. There you go. This guy's really into it. I love it. All right. And now drop your arms and kind of dip your shoulders into it. Sway with your shoulders. What you really want to do that helps is to sink into your shoulder as you move. And you keep your whole body sink and kind of go with that beat. And you can bounce with it too. There you go. All right, now we're gonna kind of do that with our hips too. You gotta move into your hips more. And if you're really tired, this is a great way to kind of keep moving without committing as much of everything else. You kind of have to use your knees a little bit. All right, now now we're actually gonna use our knees to kind of sway into it. Now we're gonna step, right? A step, woo! You don't have to follow my exact side to side, as long as you're stepping. And it's something as you're stepping to kind of note is like as you get to each side, how your shoulder kind of automatically sinks into it a little bit. That's what I meant before when I said like it's your arms and your shoulders. All right, now we're gonna combine. Let's do arms. Now this is my favorite one to do in a club because it's the easiest one that makes you cool. Look cool. Just use your elbows to like sway back and forth like this. Like arm up, elbow up, elbow up. There you go. There you go. All right. And if you stay still, you can kind of use your elbows this way. And your shoulders too. It's like in there, kind of together. There we go. All right, you guys are good at this. We're at the end of this song. You guys did awesome. All right, clap for that. Woo! But yeah, you guys can kind of feel as you like started getting really into this song, you just kind of like get into the flow of it, right? Like especially if you have a song you really like, if it's really energetic, if it's really easy to follow along to, it's a pace you recognize, or like a melody that like vibes with you. Bad Apple is like probably the easiest for that. It's gonna start playing something else. All right, all right. Oh, that's, it's doing a thing where it just decides. All right. That's not what I want to do. All right, sorry, this is. I have to get back to the playlist. All right, in the meantime, let me. All right, so this is the part where we get a little bit more technical with it. And that's why I had to pull up my playlist. So there's a few different flavors of dance music to look out for when it comes to this kind of thing. So that's considered more like pop, if we're being honest. But it's a danceable pop. Pop is pop for a reason. It's very easy to follow along with. And it's very cute. It's very approachable. A lot of it is influenced by a genre called house. House is a classic. It is very instrumental focused. I'm sure you've heard it. Eurodance. Did any of you show up at the Eurodance panel last night? They literally just played Eurodance and just like talked about the lyrics of Eurodance. It was very cute. Everyone just sang along. But if you know, like, rhythm is a dancer. If you know, like, technically, I think Blue. I think, what's up? It counts, yeah, that's all house. It's got like a more uplifting, brighter aesthetic most of the time, like classic house kind of does. It almost always has some kind of vocal. And there are some spin-offs like tech house that are a little bit edgier. We're not gonna get into that today. It's a little more the stuff you see on TikTok and stuff, and it's good, but it's like, we're focused more on like stuff that you're gonna hear at like MAGFest or something. There's also UK Garage, that's kind of in the same wheelhouse in general. That's kind of a more complicated one. I forgot to look up examples of that before I came to MAGFest. But I recommend, if you end up liking house, I recommend looking up UK Garage as well. It's very popular right now. So, as some examples of that, and we are gonna talk about good ways to move to it. If I can find it. There's my list. I'm gonna cheat. I love Final Fantasy XIV Online. So this is actually house by like a lot of technical definitions. This is a raid boss song. It's really funny because it's a woman being evil. It's a villain boss. But yeah, so where's my sheets? I have cheat sheets for what I wanted to explain about house. So house is a lot of bouncing, and I've noticed it's a lot of, like, when people do it, there's a lot of rolling of like arms and shoulders. So remember that elbow move I showed you before? Yeah, we're gonna do that. But what you're gonna do is gonna bring your arms a little bit more in to kind of give it a little boogie. And then just kind of like, there you go. And again, it's important to like use your shoulders and your knees to like kind of bounce into it. And then we can kind of diverge from that. Just give a little step side to side. So you can hear it's like kind of brighter. There's a lot of pianos, a lot of vocals. It's more like focused on like the instruments than like just the beat alone. Now here's the thing with house. That's really the ones I can think of because house is a very like do anything you want kind of dance genre. Like I like to just kind of do a little bounce personally, or I like to like it's very popular to do like give a little boogie. If you want to put your arms up, there you go. Awesome. Hey, just do whatever. We'll do a little free form. Give a little dance, right? Whatever you want. It's like kind of like listen to the music and just what are you feeling? What's your body feeling? All right. And I'm just gonna, you guys can keep going if you'd like. I'm gonna change up this song. I'm just trying to show examples of what would be considered in the wheelhouse of house. Again, people will fight me on these genres. I don't care. This is very squarely house though. There you see? And for something like this, you kind of give a little like, and again, by the way, you don't, when you go out there, you don't obviously have to follow exactly what I'm doing, but like, you know, it's really simple. It'll be a little shoulder wiggle. Yeah, it's like a little pump or whatever.
How do you do?
And what I like to do when it comes to house is give it a little bounce side to side step too. So this is a really simple one to do. You step, and you step, and you step. Like that, and you sink into your knee. That's a really important part of this, actually. You sink into your knee a little bit when it comes to something like that. It gives you a really cute look, and it feels really cute. Like when you bounce, really, again, make sure you're like going to your knee, and maybe into your ankle a little bit. Push it to the floor. And then give whatever flair you like. So he's doing good. He's great. He's like, give a little sway with your arms. By the way, this is from 1080 Degrees Snowboarding. A lot of these songs are older than 2010 that we're going to hear tonight. A lot of PlayStation, a lot of Nintendo. You know how it is. You know these old songs went hard for no reason. All right, awesome. We'll move on. You guys are great, by the way. All right. So next one is going to be... Oh, by the way, this is like I just pulled up some old just to show you how these people used to, or like what people consider to be. When I say do not think too hard on what you're doing, like just do whatever the hell you feel like. Those are just examples. That's just people wiggling however the hell you feel like if we're being honest. Like these are people just low-key freestyling it. And that's what you should be feeling. Anyway, next is techno. Woo, we love techno. But it's like one of the most complicated things to explain because it's got a bigger umbrella than like anything in like electronic music, I would argue. I would say the key facets are that it's really more focused on just maintaining a beat and like a rhythm than it is like of the pure instrumentals. It's very, 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 it's called techno, so it's going to be instrumental, like synth heavy. And it's very repetitive. People like to joke that, oh my God, you're going out to dance to repetitive music. Crazy. But that's kind of the point. A good DJ is able to synth together a lot of like the different like, it's really hard to explain. You have to like listen to a really good set to understand it. They know how to keep the ball rolling for just an extremely long time to a point where just like you can't stop dancing until you really feel the lull. So as examples of like, and by the way, if you ever want to actually listen to techno, I recommend listening to a set as opposed to just songs. You want to listen to like sets that are like at least an hour long. That's me being a dweeb about it though. I have a touchscreen. I can use touchscreen. What am I doing with my touchpad? Yeah, it's like floor to floor. It's a little bit harder. It's more focused on that. So techno, people tend to, you can dance to techno however you want. When it goes like to 160 BPM, I dance like a girl, even if it's like, do. But you're generally the focus tends to be more on like hitting that beat, like really pounding into that beat. So we're gonna kind of do this. My personal favorite thing is to do the knee thing again, but to really like emphasize the bounce more. Like use your shoulders a lot more, use your chest a lot more. I don't know how to transition into more like, what's it called? I didn't think about how to transition into the more difficult stuff. Let me think. All right, I'm gonna stand still. It's really popular just to sway your hip and your shoulder side to side. And you can like, you kind of feel your, again, like push your shoulder down and you'll feel like the rest of your body move with your shoulder. And after a while, it just becomes like, it's like this natural motion of like just rotating, basically. It's like a mix between like bouncing and rotating. And then stepping is also really popular in techno. Like as far as I've seen it. Again, obviously you're not limited. Like I said, you can do anything you want, especially the techno when you have to really keep going for a long time. So like you can sway between just like, there is no disrespect in like literally just standing and swaying and bobbing your head. But like if you feel it, get into it, you know? You see how you're meant to like feel it and follow it for a really long time? And then it like flows back up and down. It's meant to be more of like a journey than it is just like a track, you know? Right, and then one more time, I'll do the shoulder thing. Literally just sink your shoulder in any direction you feel like. And very often your hands will follow too. And it's very common to see people using their hands in like a really kind of ridiculous way. And wait for the break. I'm trying to remember all like the TikTok moves that people do. Like this is a really popular one. And then also just like letting your hands down like this. You do a little like U with your hands and it makes it look like you're bouncing with your hands. All right, awesome. We'll move on from that. I'll also give you another techno track just to, we kind of get the idea. It's about keeping moving, having little breaks. By the way, that was Wipeout 3. And then anyone who knows Wipeout will be like, oh, of course it was Wipeout. This actually gets really into like some dramatic, hypnotic stuff. Which is personally my style. There we go, see? And yeah, a lot of the time with techno, you'll have these like long, like hanging beats over, or like synths hanging over it. So you can kind of follow that too if you really like. So despite the fact that like you're bouncing, like you maybe just like flow your body whatever way you feel like with all these synths going on in the background. Techno is like a massive genre for nerds because you're going to be listening for all the different instruments hiding behind the beats or in front of the beats. Like, let's not even talk about like poly beats. Nice, there we go. Let's get into it. I like it. All right. We'll move on. We're gonna do a little interlude, a little funny interlude. All right, good job, guys. Let me pause that if it lets me. All right, next. Oh, by the way, there's many different ways to dance to techno. There is absolutely zero wrong way to dance to techno. The ones on the right are the ones I personally try to emulate sometimes because it's funny and also fun. But like when I started dancing, I started thinking more about the kid on the left. Because again, let's be honest, and I forgot to say this at the beginning, dancing is inherently silly. keep that in mind. If you're like out here and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna look so silly out there. Like you look at this now, like that kid in the 90s was probably the coolest kid on that dance floor, if we're being honest. But like, you know, if you saw that in real life, you for a second, you'd be like, that's the silliest thing I've ever seen. Just keep that in mind. You're going to feel silly for a little bit. But that's part of the fun, because if you're not silly, then how are you going to have fun? Anyway, dubstep. Let's do dubstep real quick. Let me tie my shoe on. My shoe is untied. That's bad. It's not preferable. That's another thing to keep in mind. Dubstep is funny. Also, there's not much dubstep in video games, which is kind of sad, but it makes sense because it's not like a continuous thing that can just keep rolling in the background. Dubstep usually has something called a drop. When you hear that drop, people like to headbang like it's metal. You're gonna not use your neck, by the way. Use the rest of your body, and then you can kind of like your neck follow. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Wub, 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 wub. That's it. That's dubstep. We've done it, guys. What also helps is if you don't want to go up and down, you go forward and back. Like with you like give it a little pull, as if like you're pulling your body forward. Also, people like to mosh. We're not gonna mosh it. Let's not do that, all right? I don't have the tools for that. It's really funny. I've done a mosh pit exactly once in dubstep because there's an artist I liked in town. I fell on my butt twice, got back up. It was a great time. All right, cool. So next category. And this is kind of going to be our last one just because like there's so many different things I could go over, but this is like kind of the blanket of things you're going to hear, especially at MAGFest. Anything else is very like low tempo. You could just wait to that. We don't need to do that. But yes, there's a whole history of drum and bass. I have a lot to say on the history of drum and bass and jungle. Long story short, drum and bass and jungle are kind of like cousins to each other. You're going to see them very much in the same proximity of things. Always 174 BPM. And you're like, how fast is that? You will find out momentarily if you haven't heard it already. It's a great time if I'm being honest. I have a running joke, and it's not really a joke. Do you know Pendulum? Do you know Prodigy? It's either Pendulum and Prodigy, or it's like that classic amen break. Yeah, you're going to hear both of those. And I'm going to demonstrate, or rather play both of those. It's really, and you hear it at home. You hear it here. I'm going to be honest. It's made for giant. And the history of it is giant sound speakers in London. It is made for showing up to the dance floor, dancing to it, vibing, standing by the speakers and just letting it rattle your body. It is the kind of thing where you do have to kind of get it in you to get there, to be on the floor, and you will get it when it happens. And I'm sure some of you were probably here last night for drum and bass, so you probably knew. You get it. The energy's different. Cool. We're gonna start with some proper drum and bass. Not proper, I don't know why I'm saying proper. There's no such thing. This is apparently what they played during Rocket League. This is like what I joked is the Pendulum drum and bass. It's called by the way, I'm gonna have all these tracks up on the screen at the end if you want to take a picture as a list. It's called Double Tap by Going Quantum and Have. It was like used in Rocket League. A lot of modern drum and bass has this very long dramatic build-up. But again, keep in mind a lot of these sets are made to be, a lot of these songs are made to be mixed in and not just listened to. These things, especially drum and bass, is stellar in a full like hour-long, 2-hour-long set. If you ever need work music, you'll find a DJ you really like or a couple of DJs you really like and just look up those sets. So what you're gonna do, the best way to do it, this is how they do it in Britain, by the way. You go forward and back with your chest and your hips. And you kind of like bob your head forward with it. This is one we're actually going to abandon some of the stuff I said before. Your shoulders are kind of harder to use here. But yeah, the best way to do it is just go forward and back. Forward, back, forward, back, forward, back, forward, back. And then you kind of double time it a little bit after you get used to it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it helps to do the finger gun. This is a very important part of drum and bass. If you know, you know, he know. I see somebody who knows. It's very important to have the finger guns out. You really can dance to drum and bass any way you want. I'm gonna do another that's very close to drum and bass. Actually, what was I gonna do? I was gonna do. I have my. What's my cheat sheet? Here it is. Well, that's not my cheat sheet. I know there's one more. It vanished on me. All right. And it's also very probably just kind of step around. I'm gonna change songs though. So that was a Rocket League one before. This is from Roll Cage 2. Again, another old racing game. Oh my god, there's good songs in old racing games. I'm stunned. And you can also just bob your head. But I forgot if this has a drop or not. I've heard so many racing game songs like in the last week. So again, just like forward and back to your best bet. Because again, drum and bass tends to be in very packed clubs. So you gotta forward and back with your chest. Or if you can't, you just use your finger guns. Just to give a little. See, it's not easy. It's literally not easy. And now you guys are all vibing. We're doing it. Great job. But you can dance again any way you want. That keeps you going. I like to kind of do like this. My personal thing is I like to step around. I like to walk around. People like to just kind of walk around a little bit. Anything that keeps you moving with the beat. You can also go side to side. You can do that little sway if you like. The sway is going to be important in a minute. I'm going to let that roll for another few seconds. It's a good song. All right. We're getting into jungle real quick. I feel like this is worth its own song or two. Because jungle is very intimidating, if we're being honest. Because like, what's going on with all these drums? Here's the cheat sheet. Again, it's a cousin of drum and bass. You just do the same thing, but there's a lot more just wild flailing if you really feel like it. So like literally, what you do with jungle is anything you want. Like I'm not kidding. Anything you want, just go with it. You just kind of, you can. I think it's very probably just kind of like let your head bob and just kind of go with the beat. And just like feel like all the, especially again when you're with a big speaker, you're kind of like taking in all the noise, all the drums. And like all the like, again, jungle has a lot of like techno, very big overflowing, like kind of instruments over it. It's like, it is like very good for racing games. It is like you're going fast, but there's like the scene going by you. And it's like techno. It just kind of keeps going like that for a while. But it's fun. The point is that it's fun. And then another. Oh my God, guys, we have another racing game song. One more jungle song. Ridge Racer. Where's my roommate when I need him? He memes on it all the time. But yeah, again, this is again the amen break side of the drum and bass situation. See, it's like a lot of same motifs. It's usually a lot of same drums. You can just kind of bob your head to it. It's very just easy way to enjoy it. Again, anything, as long as you are moving, you're kind of respecting the music a little bit. That's the most important part, is just to find a way to either keep moving or, you know. All right, awesome. Okay, let that play out a little bit. All right, that could keep going forever. That's what's great about jungle music. So So yeah, that's. I also have some stuff on the screen. This is drum and. This is the kind of thing I said I'm not gonna learn how to or teach how to do. That guy's trying. It's okay. It takes a lot of practice. Again, there's many different ways. Drum and bass is one of those genres where it really gets people moving, and people try to do that step thing. That's just called step, I think. There's like 5 different ways to call it. But yeah, like you can learn that. I think there's tutorials online. It is I don't want to call it a dying art, but it is it's one that when you see it, you're like, oh, cool, okay. It's niche. Yes, niche is a great word. Thank you. I forget how words work, and I get paid to do that. All right. So there's a lot of different other ways this can go. I think you probably saw the little tease on the bottom of techno, like, yeah, there's trance that's in the middle of that. A million different subgenres of techno that go up to like sorry, the third kids here, is too many BPM. There's different ways to enjoy that. Really, the bottom line is like, when you like recognize something that you like, just start moving to it. When you're in like a grocery store and you hear a song, like there's nothing wrong with banging your head to it. Like it really does kind of start with you. Like I have one more little thing to show you before we start trying to wrap it up. One of my favorite videos of all time, if it shows. All right. Wow, it's actually playing on the audio. They tend to use this in leadership videos. I would argue that this is the only way to start a dance floor is by dancing. And they just start going. That's my favorite part besides the next part. They're really just going. I think it goes on for like 3 minutes, but yeah, here we go. This is where it starts. This is the only correct way to start a dance floor is by dancing. There you go, see? Ooh. Legitimately one of my favorite videos of all time, because that is truly the #1 only way to get things going is by doing it. And that has to be you sometimes, because like one final exercise. All right, real quick. Everyone close your eyes real quick. All right. Raise your hand if you were here to just dance. Raise your hand if you're here to dance. There you go. Open your eyes. Look around. There you go. See, everyone wants to dance. You just got to do it, all right? Like, I know it's intimidating, but like the part of this is that like it's giving you I want you guys to have a little bit more of like the approach of like, it's really not as weird as it seems. And it at the same time as it is, but you just really got to just get into it, and you'll eventually learn to just kind of shed that like, again, intimidation. When you go to these parties, these raves and all that stuff, like, you're going to see people dancing. That's because they want to dance and they're doing the same thing you want to do. You just do it. I don't know how many ways I can say that. You guys get the point, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to dance. So we're going to do one last thing. I'm going to do the most important thing I could possibly do, which is play my favorite song in the world. Oh my God, did it just refresh on me? No, it just... Yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. So, let's go. Woo! Dance. Woo!
You're giving me too many things lately. You're all I need. You smiled at me and said,
So I didn't even have to say anything. This is a great, like one of the goated songs. Simple.
You walk away, you don't hear me say please. Oh baby, don't go. Simple and clean is the way that you're making me feel.
I'm just gonna let this run. That's pretty much all I have. I also have Death by Glamour queued up, and I think I have like 15 minutes before the panel ends. I can just let that run. Thank you guys for coming. If you want to keep dancing, it's simple and clean. Why wouldn't you dance? Woo! Good job, guys. You're great. Enjoy yourselves. Get out there. Do whatever the hell you want. It's 2026. You have no other choice.